This is in continuation with the previous video. So we are continuing with the equipment planning for an upcoming hospital. So the term equipment means we mean all the items necessary for the functioning of all services of the hospital. So it is necessary to consult with the architect designing the building early so that the facilities planned will be of sufficient size to accommodate the equipment and render the necessary services. So you need to do a room by room equipment list. So that has to be compiled and reviewed by the admin, medical and department staff. So the very first one, built-in equipment. So when we are discussing about the built-in equipment, we are discussing about the counters and cabinets in laboratory, pharmacy and other parts of hospitals, elevators, incinerators, coolers, fixed sterilizing equipment. So they are usually included in the construction contract, and the planning of this equipment is the architect's responsibility. Then comes the depreciable equipment. So when we are discussing about the depreciable equipment that has a life of 5 years or more and is not purchased through construction contracts, these are large pieces of furniture that have a relatively fixed location and are capable of moved. Normally we can name diagnostic and therapeutic equipment and some laboratory instruments and office furniture. Then the non-depreciable equipment. So these are a small item with a low unit cost and lifespan of less than 5 years. These are generally under the control of the storeroom and are brought through the other construction contracts. They include kitchen utensils, surgical instruments, linen and waste baskets. Then we are moving on to the site selection. So whenever you discuss about the site selection, we more bother about the accessibility, right? The patient should have a quick accessibility to transportation and communication lines, and they should have an adequate parking facilities. They should have an availability of public utilities and proper elevation of drainage and general sanitary measures, and there should be freedom from smoke, noise, vapors and other annoyance, because the hospital should have a healing environment for the patients. And that site that you select for the hospital, it should be feasible for the hospital to further expand in the future. And you should also keep in mind, when you are selecting the site, that should also a part of total cost that is involved in the hospital planning. Then moving on to the interior and furnishing. So inpatient centered environment, the design solutions that should respond to the needs of the patient profile, both architecturally and through a medical selections. So this should consider the infection control standards. You should have a proper designing area, healing environment, physical environment, and you should have a proper organizational planning understanding. And the cost analysis is the major one whenever you are designing the interior and furnishing. And the hospital building, after completion of all preparation for building a hospital, the governing board issue instructions for the development of final plans and specifications. So it is always based on the principles of protection and the short traffic routes and separation of dissimilar activities, and that should also have a control. So when we discuss about the general features, you should always keep in mind the environment, the screened windows and 3 to 4 separate entrance. You should have a proper exit point in emergencies, an attractive entrance, then that you should have a proper traffic flow, feasible corridors, then you should have a visitors control, and you should also have a running physical part of the hospital, then mandatorily a fire escape. When we are discussing about the bed distribution, the function of the hospital revolve around the total number of beds and their distribution within various department and services. So the number of beds in hospital is a yardstick applied when referring to the size of the hospital in various services, occupancy rate and etc. So the types of bed accommodation, the bed distribution by services, space requirement, all should be kept in mind. So there always goes with a calculation. Whenever you plan a bed, you have to consider the number of patients admissions, right? And you should also divide that by the total populations by the year and the average length of the stay and the percentage of occupancy. So it is that always goes with the calculation of a number of patients into average length of the stay into 100 divided by the percentage of occupancy into 365. So based on this calculation, this bed distribution is normally planned in hospitals. Then we are discussing about the hospital project staging. So we have stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So the stage 1 is the functional content. So we call it as an outline brief. So here you need to have an project team, assessment of the functional content. Then you should have submission of the owners. As I said, the classification of hospitals, whether it is going to be the proprietor, sole proprietorship, or the partnership, or it is going to be cooperative or trust or a family based, and you should have a proper approval. Then site appraisal, gross floor areas, building space. Then you need to draft a master plan, estimation of the cost, and you should have a proper cost by phasing, then appraisal of work by owners. Then the next stage comes the organizational policy, or we can call it as an operational policies. Here the hospital should have a policies, departmental and interrelated activities, and the departmental and hospital policies, development of control plans, budget cost, and continuous informal decisions with owners. The third stage is a schedules of accommodation, sketches, and final cost estimates. You have to schedule the accommodation, you have to do a sketch drawing, and that also have equipment schedules, component estimates wise, then cost revenue, staffing of estimates, then you have to have a final cost approval. Then the next stage, the fourth stage, should have a detailed design working of drawings and tender auctions. So here you need to have a working drawings, engineering details, then bills of quantities, then calling tenders. The final stage is the contract and constructions. Here you need to have assessment of tenders, award of contracts, constructions, and engineering commissions. Then the commissioning should have a staff assembly and training, then equipment and supplies assembly, then testing of installations. The final style, that is the trial run. So after commissioning of hospital, some time is taken for functional integration of different units, services, staff, patients, and community. So here you need to have the machines tested, and you need to have the staff recruited, and the proper training has to be given to them, and the standard operating procedures that has to be made. You have to have the maintenance services that has to be put in place, and materials, linen and stationery, all that is need to be procured, and then starts the routine and regular functioning of the hospitals.